the makeup or composition of the army during the Exodus. And to be quite honest with you, this is something that I just came to grips with today when trying to figure out how you would do a census. Because before that, I knew that there were members of the army, and again, if Asher has 41,500 able-bodied warrior men, but they're only using 1,000 each battle, or maybe a much smaller number, they're not going to be using all of them. And so, is it in fact the ones who want to go out and do all the fighting? And it wasn't until I did the aspect of the census that things kind of fit. And now, because of that, additional things fit, specifically as it pertains to Deuteronomy 20 when you go to war. And so, for Asher, you will have officers of hundreds and officers of thousands. Okay? So, there will be 41 or maybe 42 because it's 41,500 officers of thousands. And you will have, again, a much larger number, 4,000, 400 and, 415 officers of hundreds. And so that is the composition that we have. Now, if you go out to war and they are only needing 300 warriors from the tribe of Asher to go to a battle, well, it becomes very easy at that point in time. We can take those people who are going, and again, it would be a rotating basis. And in Deuteronomy 20, the priest comes, he gives the message to everybody, and then the officers choose the captain. And that's the real perplexing issue. Why are they choosing a captain? And the reason for it is because each time you're going out to battle, you've got a different group. And so, in other words, the makeup of each tribe, and I'm going to use Asher because it's something that I would study more as my tribe. So Asher will have one leader of the whole of everything for Asher. It should have 4 clan leaders because there are 4 clans. And then you would have either 41 or 42 officers over 1,000 of the army. You would have, and again, you would have the 415 officers of hundreds of the army. So let's assume they say, okay, we need 300 men from Asher. The 300, we would not be bringing in the officer of 1,000 because it's a smaller unit. So it's just the officers of hundreds would come in with there, and from that they have to choose a leader. From those 3, they would have 3 officers of hundreds because it's only 300 being called in, and then after the priest goes through things and after those officers talk to the men, then they choose between the 3 which of them is the leader that day. If it brings in and needs 2,000 from Asher, 2,000 troops from Asher for a specific battle, or maybe 5,000 troops of Asher, let's use 5,000, then you would have 5 of these officers of 1,000. You would have obviously you would have 50 officers of 100. No, you would actually, sorry. No, you'd have 50 officers of 100. And you would have 5 officers of 1,000. And so they would get together after it goes forward, and the 5 officers of 1,000, because they're the top ranking, after the priest talks to the men and after they talk to the men, then they will choose between them who the leader is for that battle day. And again, because of that, it's just rotating. So if you are a warrior man, you're going to be doing war. You may not do it much, but it should be a rotating factor. And you could be the head of your clan, and the battle goes out that day, and you're left behind. You are the leader. I assume the leader of your clan would also be a leader of 1,000. And if his is not the one on the list to go out that day, he sits behind and he waits. And so we see this as well when we look at Numbers 31, because we have the officers of 1,000s and 100s. Again, they are coming back. And in Numbers 31, the tribal clan leaders go out to meet them. So in that particular one, the leaders of of the tribe that go out there, they were not part of the military that day, but they certainly have that ability to be part of the military on those days. That's the makeup of the Army. And again, so because of that, it's a sliding scale. I always had the impression, wow, it would just be the specific ones who want to be going out there. But I think it's much more of a fair scenario. Sadly for me, I wanted to be a little bit more greedy. But it appears it's a much more fair, everybody's going to be doing this. And everybody's going to have a part in this. Just take it as that.